So when I was just getting started and I made offers, I did have to budget for repairs, but I had no idea how to budget for repairs. I'd never flipped a home at that time. And I remember, I think this was the first time I lost money, and I honestly don't talk about this that much, but the first time I lost money in real estate was because I did not estimate repairs correctly, and here's what happened. So it was a triplex in Fresno, California, and I was represented by a realtor. I made an offer on the home, estimating that the rehab was gonna be around $25,000. And it was an arbitrary number. I had no idea what $25,000 of a project looked like. I was like, yeah, it's probably 25 grand, I don't know, trying to be smart. Well, I got the property under contract, which surprised me because it was my first offer and I was kind of scared that I overpaid, which I did. And again, after estimating $25,000 of a repair budget, I brought a contractor out to give me a bid on the property. And after walking through everything, he gave me a bid of around $70,000 to do what I thought $20,000 would do. And immediately in my head, I thought, oh, I messed up. Because I already paid for an inspection, and that inspection was $450, or it was $350, something like that. But I lost that money because after I brought that contractor out, I was like, I gotta back out. I severely misunderstood what a rehab was. So I backed out and I lost that $350 to $450 on the inspection. And that was the first time I've ever lost money on a real estate transaction, ever. So from there, I learned. And what I learned is what I'm gonna teach you today so that you don't have to make the same mistake and lose money. Now, before I get into this video, full disclosure, I am not a licensed contractor. I am just an investor who has flipped some homes, and I have other friends who have flipped a lot more homes than me, and I've kind of gathered some data. Now, of course, when you estimate repair costs, you obviously want to get to the point to where you can individually identify, a kitchen costs this much, or a bathroom costs this much, or granite costs this much. You want to be able to get to that point. But if you're starting out, you have no idea what a flip costs. You have no idea what a kitchen repair costs or what a bathroom remodel is. You don't know. And that's okay, because we've all been there. I've been there. But I'm gonna teach you how to estimate it before even offering on a home. And the way I'm gonna teach you is by looking at the square footage of the home. So I'm gonna explain different tiers of rehabs and what you can expect and how to identify what kind of rehab you're looking at so you can better identify what kind of repair costs you're gonna have before flipping the home. Or if you're a new wholesaler, you can at least identify the repair costs that a flipper would look at if they're gonna buy the home from you. And you might think, is that even accurate? And I will tell you that it is surprisingly accurate at how estimating repair costs versus what the repairs actually were if you just based it off the square footage of the home. Like every flip I've done, I always go back to look at what the entire rehab cost was, and then I analyze what the rehab would have been as an estimate if I were to estimate it by square footage. And it's always very close, weirdly enough. So I'm gonna start at the lowest tier of rehab, the cleanup rehab. And for the cleanup rehab, you're gonna be estimating somewhere between $5 and $10 per square foot for the repairs. Now, if you're wanting to know what kind of a rehab is a cleanup rehab, now this is the small stuff. So this is like your paint, your carpet, and like small repairs. So maybe the carpet's, pretty nice and maybe you can wash it or just replace it. Carpet's pretty cheap. Or the home's just in nice overall condition. Maybe things aren't super modern, but ideally they're, pretty modern, and some small repairs. So maybe the outlets need to be replaced, or even like the light switches or doorknobs, or like little things. So like I said, I don't have an exact measurement on this because it does range a lot for little things like this, but $5 to $10 a square foot. If you're gonna be offering on a home and you're not entirely sure, just budget on the higher end, budget $10 a square foot, just to be safe. So for example, a cleanup rehab, if you're gonna be budgeting $10 a square foot and a home is 1,000 square feet, you're gonna be budgeting $10,000 for that rehab because it's a small cleanup rehab. So it's really simple, but don't get the cleanup rehab mistaken with the lipstick rehab, which is the next tier. So for the lipstick rehab, you're gonna be estimating $15 a square foot for the rehab. Now with the lipstick rehab, what we're essentially doing is trying to keep all the existing items and just make them better. So maybe you have cabinets, they're a little bit older, but they still look kind of nice. Maybe you can refinish them and paint them and sand them or whatnot and just keep them. Or maybe you have some wood flooring that's maybe old, but it's original, so it's really strong. So maybe you can just refinish them, sand them, keep them nice, keep them there. That's like the lipstick rehab. You're trying to keep as much things as you possibly can in place and just upgrade them without having to completely replace them. When you think of lipstick, why they call it a lipstick is because think of actual lipstick. Like it's already there, you're just improving it by putting something over it. Same thing goes with the home. That's what a lipstick is. You want to keep everything in place and just improve upon it. So after finishing a rehab like this, not everything will be brand new. So not everything's gonna be super modern up to today's HGTV standard. And you can get away with it. It just depends on what the market says. So if you're looking at comparable sales, what else has sold that's been flipped or looks very modern, and maybe they don't have those most modern touches, but they still sold for the price that you're trying to reach at the very end, then you don't have to outdo them, just try to match it. So for the lipstick rehabs, you have to pay attention to your target market. So look, if you're in the entry-level price point, you can get away with the lipstick rehab most likely because the buyers are going to be very happy with just whatever their home is. It's an entry-level home. But if you're in the higher-end luxury market, you probably, and I will say you won't get away with the lipstick rehab unless it was already rehabbed right before you. Now the next tier we're gonna go to is called the interior rehab. It's a full interior rehab, and what that means is that you're pretty much gonna be putting everything new in the home. You're replacing everything, all brand new, everything. And you're gonna be budgeting $20 a square foot for the rehab. So when you think full interior rehab, just think about the lipstick, but instead of refinishing, you're just replacing everything. So you're gonna have brand new cabinets, brand new flooring, brand new paint. The whole kitchen, the whole bathroom's been remodeled. That's what the full interior rehab is. And look, that could even include the exterior paint as well. And I'm not gonna go super in depth with that because it's pretty self-explanatory. Just think brand new everything. That's the full interior rehab. $20 a square foot is a good estimate. And even though it's a good estimate, I often don't use $20 a square foot on a lot of the homes that I'm offering on, because typically the homes I'm offering on have like 1 or 2 or 3 big ticket items that need to be addressed. So if I'm trying to budget for the rehab on a home and I know it's gonna be full interior rehab, I also have to ask the questions about the big ticket items. So I have to ask about the roof, the AC, electrical, plumbing, foundation, those type of things. And if I ask about those things and maybe one of those items needs to be addressed and you need something new, like maybe your AC unit's pretty much broken and you know that you need a new one, I will budget an extra $5 a square foot. So I take the original $20 a square foot, and if I know I need a new AC to be installed, I'm gonna just budget $25 a square foot for the rehab. But that's how I budget for repair costs in my market, and I know it works for a lot of other markets too. And before you take my word for all this, just ask the other investors in your area, like the big other real estate investors, and ask them, what do you budget for repairs? Like, how do you do that? And they'll tell you, maybe it's similar to mine, maybe it's slightly different. But the whole point of this is just estimating. You're not trying to get an exact number. The whole point of this is so you know roughly what the rehab is going to cost. What matters is that you're not completely off. Like, you do not want to be in the position if you budgeted for a cleanup rehab, so budgeted for $10 a square foot of repairs, when in reality it was $35 a square foot. You don't want to be in that position because that's where I started. I really hope that this video helped you out a lot so that you don't have to make the same mistake in estimating repair costs like me. And if you stuck it to the very end, thank you so much. I will be doing a giveaway of a book. And if you want to win this book, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and I'll see you at the next one because I'm announcing the winner on my Instagram story in 2 days. See you later.